Hey guys, Trainer Allen here. Been a while since I've done a video. I apologize for that. Um, Been a long couple months. My computer's broke down, so I don't really have anything good to be able to edit videos and all that neat stuff with. And so here I am, stuck with my phone. But I want to put out a video because I've noticed a lot of truck drivers have been putting out videos about being an owner operator. Um, And specifically, there's one that I just watched recently that talks about different paths to being an owner operator. And there are many different paths to being an owner operator. You can obviously you can go buy your own truck from a dealership or from a private individual. You can do a lease purchase. Um, those are a few ways to actually get the truck, but obviously then you've got to worry about how you're going about getting your loads, how you're going about really structuring your business, and what you want long term versus short term. Do you just continuously want to be a one truck operation? Do you want to get your own trailer? Do you want your own authority? Do you want to contract on with a company? Um, so there's many different things to talk about when you're talking about being or becoming an owner operator. My personal thing, as far as what I do, is I like to do lease purchase. You know, get a used truck, 2 years or so on the purchase plan, and you own the truck. Then what you do with the truck is up to you. Um, Personally, I like to buy out the truck, run it for a few months, and then turn around and sell that truck and get into another lease op. That way, I'm always leased. Number one, I'm leased on with a large carrier. Um, the pros to that for me are that I've got a backing of a carrier that's got freight. They've got freight. Um, if I happen to get into a really big bind with the truck, don't have the cash reserves to take care of something, again, being with a big carrier helps with that. So usually front you the money to keep that truck running, because as long as that truck's running, they're making money, you're making money, everybody's happy. Um, so that's my personal thing, and I don't want to um, buy trucks. I don't want to buy trucks, put drivers in them, and that kind of thing. You know, if you want to, have at it. It's a good thing to do, good way to make money. Um, but that comes with its own challenges as well, as far as getting into payroll taxes and all that, keeping all your paperwork separate. Or do you want to go LLC? Do you want to blah 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 blah? Right. So obviously that can be a big hassle, especially if you start thinking about getting your own authority, buying your own trailers. I mean, you could get your own authority and just contract on with a carrier as power only. Um, so that's an option as well. Um, with what I'm doing, you know, I get in zero money down, and in 26 months, I got a call coming in. I'm going to have to decline that. There we go. Within 26 months, I own the truck outright. There's no balloon payment at the end or anything like that. It's a used truck. Obviously, this is a 2016 that I run. 2016 Freightliner Cascadia. Um, Nothing special about it. It's got a bunk heater, but it does not have an APU or anything on it. But it does the job. It keeps me rolling, keeps me making money. Um, Again, that's my personal preference. I could, if I wanted to, finish paying off this truck, put another driver in this truck as a contractor for me, and I could lease another truck. 2 years later, I could turn around, put a driver in that, lease another truck. Um, I've known many people who have done that, and they make good money doing it. The problem is that the first truck that you bought 4 years later, you're starting to get into more money as far as maintenance and things. Plus, you just got there's so many different things there. I mean, the good thing about it is that by going that route, you don't have a truck payment on that truck. Okay, and so whatever that driver drives, whatever you're making off that truck, you're making off that truck. Now, obviously, you're going to be putting a larger and larger chunk each year into its maintenance, but again, that's a good option. A better option, perhaps, if you wanted to be, if you want to go put a large lump sum down on a truck, go to a dealership, get a brand new truck, whatever, do that. That's probably the best way to do it if you plan on being long term in one truck, or even even doing it that way. I suppose that's even a better way to go about buying your first truck than putting another driver in it. Doing it that way, obviously, you could buy 3 trucks right out the gate and sign them on with a carrier as a contractor and do it that way. So there's a lot of different ways to do it. Do yourself a favor before you decide if what's right for you. Do your research, and I'm not talking about sit down for a day or two and just call a bunch of different companies or whatever. No. I know my first time that I ever did a lease purchase, I spent about a year actually calling so many different companies, talking to drivers with those companies. I had a list of my top 20 things that these are non-negotiables for me. But again, and I know I've said this in previous videos, and you'll hear me say it again in future videos, do not fall into the trap of trying to be an owner-operator or even doing a lease purchase until you've been driving for at least 5 years. Okay? Now, is that to say that some drivers aren't coming out here and after a year or two going into a lease purchase and, making good on it? Nope, I'm not saying that. It happens. Those are the lucky few. Even a lot of drivers, though, who have been out here for a long time don't always do great with lease purchase. They don't always do great with being an owner-operator, period. Even those who go out, after 10 years and decide, I'm going to go to the bank, get a loan, buy my own truck. Even some of those guys, they don't do the best. It's really a percentage thing and what you want and what your expectations are. But I will say that until you've been in the business at least 5 years, you don't really have a lot of expectations. You don't know what to expect, really, long term. So get your 5 years in before you do anything. I can't stress that enough. Get 5 years experience in before trying to become an owner-operator. Because there's so many things that are going to happen year after year after year in that first 5 years, especially. A lot of new things are going to happen every year. You're going to get used to different changes in systems, in laws, because so much of our regulations change so much on a regular basis. And if you're not used to that and whatever you're doing now, it comes as a real shocker about how much change there really is out here. But ultimately, the bigger deal is, should you become an owner-operator? Not so much how you become an owner-operator, what path you take to becoming an owner-operator, but the real question is, should you become an owner-operator? 3 things right off the bat that you need to know, okay? First of all, if you're an owner-operator, don't plan on going home all the time. I know a lot of guys who get into lease purchase programs thinking, well, I can go home whenever I want now. Yeah, you can, but you're not going to make anything if you really go home whenever you want. A lot of guys think, well, I'm going to get in a lease purchase and I'm going to go home every weekend. No, you're not. Not unless you're on you could get put on a really good dedicated account and maybe go home and do your 34 every weekend. That's a good possibility. That can happen. But in general, plan on staying out 3 to 4 weeks at a time. Plain and simple. Now, if you don't have a lot of needs at home, you're not married, no kids, no child support, sure, go home every weekend or even every 2 weeks. But if you're going to be purchasing your own truck, you need to plan on spending a lot of time in that truck. Yeah, I heard another driver say on his video, I think it was, I don't know, maybe yesterday, earlier today, the fact that, which comes first, family or business? Well, obviously, ultimately, family comes first. But when you're running your own business, that business has to take care of the family. So ultimately, what ends up happening is the business comes before the family. Okay. Now, obviously, in thought, in heart, in mind, obviously, family comes first. But you've heard the term "married to your truck." Yes, that's true. When you become an owner operator, your truck becomes your mistress. Or so just know that going in, because ultimately you've got to take care of that truck in order for that truck to take care of your family. So know that going in. Know that you're going to be spending massive amounts of money and time on that truck. But yeah, the biggest thing that I can say about being an owner operator, becoming an owner operator, is really do your research. Know what you want to do. Have a long-term plan going in. Know what your plan is for the first year, the first 3 years, the first 5 years, and up to 10 years out. And once you have that plan in place, understand that it might change, because what you want right now might not be what you want in 3 years. What you want right now might not be what you want in 5 years. But have a plan and work your plan. If you work your plan should take care of you. If your plan is thought through and you've done your research. So, continue doing research, and anytime you guys have questions, feel free to drop them down below. And I will do my best to answer them as they come. But anyways, so yeah, right now I'm just sitting waiting for a trailer number to be sent over to me so I can get started on this next load. So anyway, peace out, my friends. We'll see you next time. Until then, as always, keep that shiny side up, keep that dirty side down, and we will catch you on the flip flap.